Hey everybody, it's Jason Ellis and Tony Hawk. Hawk vs. Wolf, greatest podcast of all time in the history of the universe.
Each 1 ounce serving of wonderful pistachios can...
Everybody knows college football is more exciting when there's something on the line.
AG1 is a foundational nutrition supplement.
Apparently I didn't believe in the fine print, but now Liquid Death officially owns my soul.
Did we look stupid to you? Honestly.
You can do meds and be hard and jizz. Woo!
Okay, what's up, guys? I was going to do this one by myself, and I'm doing it with Johnny instead because Johnny's actually a Heath Kirchart expert.
I was seeing this girl, and then all of a sudden, she's dating this guy, this old man. I seen him out and about. I guess he's a pretty weird guy.
So yeah, Johnny's Eskimo Bros with Heath.
Yeah.
Heath loves me though. Did
That's
you know
cool.
that? He asked to take a photo with me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where?
He does Epically Latered, the skateboard documentary series. He co-produces that, I think.
Really?
Yeah,
like those.
with Patrick O'Dell. Yeah, so I got interviewed for that. We're here now. We have an expert here. I actually made this little thing. I'll put this on screen and post. But like, doesn't he look?
Yeah, similar.
I think it's the eyes. Yeah,
yeah,
the vacant stare, like black,
scary
depression
eyes.
Yes. Joyless.
Yeah.
Joyless eyes. By the way, this is going to be obviously a very pro Heath Kirchart production because even if Heath Kirchart is a little bit evil, I would say he's like villainous in a very honorable way where he has like strong principles and like in following those principles, he's sort of unwilling to compromise. He's unrelenting versus these other two who are evil in just like a much more selfish,
money way.
Yes.
He doesn't seem monetarily motivated.
In fact, I mean, they'll get into that, but Heath Kirchart is very well respected in skateboarding, not only for his skateboarding itself. He said this is going to be my last video part, then he exited on his own terms, and then he went and like did a bunch of other stuff, like invested in a bar and worked, some regular jobs and shit, which is pretty rare. Usually people stay in skateboarding for as long as they can until they're like whacked.
And until it's sad.
Until it's sad. And that's what we have here today, the Hawk versus podcast.
There's no explanation on why it's called the Hawk versus Wolf.
Well, Jason Ellis's nickname is the Wolf.
Why?
Nobody. I have no idea.
Crazy 7-year-old nickname to give yourself.
It's a terrible name.
I'm the Wolf.
Wolf. I wanted to be called Spike when I was a kid.
I don't know who gets. Probably gets.
Hey everybody, it's Jason Ellis and Tony Hawk. Hawk vs. Wolf, greatest podcast of all time in the history of the universe.
What he said about our podcast, and we have decks that are of the podcast.
Signed by the greatest skateboarder of all time in the history of the universe, and me.
Dang, I was going to get away with that. This is like...
Hold on a second.
Hang on. Yeah, we got to hit the pause already.
Yeah, what I do like about this board, it's a kind of like a 90s skateboard style graphic.
Yes, kind of like these.
Signed Tony Hawk's. There was even another one, but it's personalized to my dad, so I didn't even bring. I have 3 signed Tony Hawk decks from the year 2004, probably.
I guarantee the value of these has done nothing but tank.
Yeah, probably.
They've gone down tremendously. The diptych board of their one side is Jason Ellis, one side is Tony Hawk.
Those things are
$350 for signed decorative boards that are extremely ugly, by the way. Yes, $350. So
ugly.
like Tony Hawk's signature, I was like, it's got to be completely valueless. You can find trading cards and stuff on eBay that are signed by Tony Hawk.
$20.
Probably is the type of celebrity that carries a Sharpie around with him, like hoping that people will be like, Tony Hawk, can you sign something for me?
He's signed millions.
These diptychs, they're the perfect brewery decoration.
It's true.
You see that?
It's true.
It lines up exactly.
So you get both of those boards for the
$350. Yes, you get one signed by Tony Hawk.
And
look, I put them over here in a different brewery environment.
Beautiful.
Very nice with like a neo geometric moose. What is that? A moose or a deer or an elk?
It's a moose.
Really quick, also, I wanted to show you Jason Ellis's signature. You see that at the bottom?
It's a skateboard.
He
Wow.
wrote Ellis on a skateboard. Look how bad it is compared to Tony Hawk's signature. I hate Tony Hawk, but I'll give him credit. He's got a damn good signature. If you look up Heath Kirchart's signature on eBay, a lot more valuable. A signed Heath Kirchart board is like worth minimum $700. And that's because even though Heath Kirchart is nowhere near as famous as Tony Hawk is, the market of Tony Hawk signatures is so oversaturated, they're nearly valueless. The value of a Tony Hawk signed product is predicated entirely on what he signed.
Are you looking for a delicious and nutritious snack
another
that packs
ad?
real
Yes, listen
protein
to him
punch?
try to do this ad read.
Don't punch me.
Pistachios. Each 1 ounce serving of wonderful pistachios contains 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value, mate. Pistachios are known for their protein power, fiber, better for you, unsaturated fats.
So that blew my mind for a variety of reasons. I've never seen so many jump cuts during an ad read during like 4th grade reading level sentences. Also, I guarantee Tony Hawk can read way fucking better than Jason Ellis. I think there's a part of Tony Hawk that wants Jason Ellis to kind of look bad so that he looks better. Tony Hawk is such a nice guy for having this borderline disabled Australian guy host a podcast with him.
I've been knocked out over 30 times.
Also, do pistachios need an ad?
No.
It's like having an ad for tomatoes.
I
Like
wouldn't
nobody
be surprised
needs a
if they were
tomato
like,
ad. They just buy them
Yeah.
when
yeah.
they want tomatoes.
Okay, Heath Kirchart is here. Heath Kirchart is here reluctantly.
I never.
Let's just make a disclaimer.
That was the greatest noise
We have
ever for
captured
the
a unicorn.
intro.
He does not want to do interviews, but I'm thankful for it. We're kind of trading favors, even though I would have done yours anyway, because you're doing the thing on Klein.
I know.
He does a podcast?
Well, let's just take it back.
It's hard. It's hard when you ask someone and then they come right back like, "Oh yeah, but will you do this?" And to be like, "No, but
Welcome
will
to
you still do
podcasting,
that?"
baby.
Yeah.
That's how you get everyone. You wait till they ask you to do something.
Yes, very
I
much.
hate podcast that it's like a culture.
Well, this
you know?
it's crazy. Tony Hawk, you see how gleeful he is to get down with like the gross podcast
Yes.
meta and be like, I do your show, you do my show. And then we repeat the same things on each other's show, and then we accomplish like absolutely nothing. Like part of this incestuous like podcasting circle jerk. Tony likes it. It means that he gets like more and more attention. These guys are addicted to attention. Off rip, Heath is like so unhappy to be here. They have to even address why he's in there within the first 15 seconds. Heath asked Tony to be interviewed for Epically Later.
Oh my God.
For a Jeremy Klein
And
episode.
You gotta do my podcast.
Well, Tony Hawk
first.
says yes. He agrees to be interviewed. Says, okay, now will you come on my podcast?
Oh my
Which
God.
is
and
so
Heath calls
fucked
him
up.
out.
Immediately.
called him out. I
Immediately.
like that. I like
Yes.
that a lot.
Respect. To me, it's so fucked up because, like, all right, if you exchange podcasts, like, that's whack as fuck just because it's annoying to, like, be part of the podcast ecosystem. But Heath asked Tony Hawk to be part of a documentary,
Yes.
the most prestigious documentary series in all of skateboarding, Epically Later. It's like, okay, you're a part of, like, documenting history now, and it's a privilege to be asked to go on Epically Later. Everyone's enthusiastic about it. It's like, oh my God, they asked me to go on Epically
That's
Later.
awesome.
That's great. I'm so excited to do that. And then to turn around, agree to something, knowing that you're going to be like, okay, I'm going to try to get this guy to do my shitty podcast and trap him in a room with Australian. It's being aired out how Tony manipulated him completely into being here.
And then he does a devilish smile about it, too.
Yeah, well,
He goes-
because he thinks it's fun.
Yeah,
he thinks it's funny.
I tricked you into doing my podcast.
It's especially fucked up that it is Heath Kirchart, because Heath is somebody who, like, literally drew a line, took himself out of the public spotlight, and was like, I'm done. I'm going to let my legacy speak for itself. He doesn't really do interviews. He doesn't get on camera. He doesn't do any of this stuff. And so Tony knows that's like his legacy, and that makes him more tantalizing to Tony.
Yes.
He's like, I want to exploit
unicorn.
one of the only people left in the world who doesn't exploit themselves on camera 24 hours a day. I'm going to take him. I'm going to take him out of hiding, and I'm going to defile him publicly. That's what he wants to do.
He said how it is. Tony Hawk is the scientist that's fucking stabbing the beautiful alien.
I know.
Alien life form.
Look at this plastic surgery. All this plastic surgery that he's having. He must go into the plastic surgeon's office, and he's like, I want to look like my skateboard graphic. Please make me look like this literally
skull.
A cartoon drawing of a hawk skull.
Is that why you do this?
What's that?
Is that why you do this?
I don't know why we do it. We do it because we enjoy it.
Before the thing has even started, he's asking them, why do you guys do this?
I was like, what? What do you mean? Yeah,
No, we do it. It's like it's not for profit yet, but we love it. Heath,
Yes.
we go way back,
We do.
So this is this first part's really
rails.
boring.
and not just huge rails.
Yeah, I was gonna say, are
Huge
we gonna
slams.
watch the whole thing?
I mean, I think
There's a lot of interesting shit in here, but like, yeah, I'm against. Let's get a podcast about skateboarding. You don't know this because you don't watch these, but let's get a podcast about skateboarding that doesn't start with, let's take it back from the beginning.
Oh, wait, your sponsor me video went into the
a lot of
actual
it,
video?
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Tony just basically took it and then chopped it up and put like a Nine Inch Nails song to it.
But you were not sponsored and that good?
I mean, this is the mid to early 90s, so you didn't have to be that. Like, skating was pretty sloppy.
When you sent the video...
So this, I like that Heath already hates Jason Ellis. He already hates him. You can tell. But it's funny where like Tony and Jason have these like fake, stupid Hollywood personalities where they're like everything is extremely positive. And then Heath Kirchart is the complete opposite, where he would literally rather get shot in the face than accept a compliment. These guys run on phony compliments. Like that's the currency by which, their podcast economy is sustained.
They want, for when they go onto another person's podcast, they want the same treatment that they're giving these people.
Exactly.
Which they think is like doing a good thing.
Right. Heath doesn't want to be involved with that. He doesn't want anything. He doesn't want anything to do with that. Especially he doesn't want to be complimented from people that he does not respect. Jason Ellis's usually his contribution to a discussion is either one, diverting it to talking about himself, or number two, repeating a simple concept that was just stated and then making sure that he understands it. And that's what he just did. So yes.
I had a lot of Tony Hawk boards. I was the Powell kid. Like, ban this was like my video.
Yeah.
So it's super strange to all of a sudden be skating with.
Crazy, right?
Yeah, Feasters should come out. Probably.
Because
All right, so another point I want to make about these, this section's boring throwback segment. I've said this already about, Tony Hawk and podcasts in general, but like we have a problem now with podcasts where people seem to have forgotten why they were famous or relevant, what skill they possessed that, put them on, that made them somebody that people would be interested in. You're not famous because people like listening to you talk. I think that got lost somewhere in translation. So now we have all of these celebrities out there who are famous for a variety of different things that have nothing to do with podcasting or maintaining talking, especially in a long form conversation, because you have to be, you would expect that somebody would have a lot of things to say and a lot of, thoughts and original concepts that they want to communicate with people. Tony Hawk, he does not have that. So Tony is what I like to describe as a podcast guest. And that's the kind of guy who is still famous enough to where people would be interested in him popping up occasionally and being generally involved maybe with their media consumption maybe once or twice per year, but not somebody that's releasing hour-long productions every single week. He doesn't have that much to say. He's getting plastic surgery to be on camera more. He thinks he's like a movie star or something.
Well, he should do it 900 with some pistachios in your
he
hand.
can't 900 anymore.
He can't 900.
No way. And you know what's going to happen is year after year, We're going to have
get lower and
it's going to
lower.
get lower. Exactly.
Less
We're going
and
to have
less
less
degrees.
rotations, less degrees. It's going to be in 2025. It's going to be, Tony Hawk did a 540, guys.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I was like, okay, I can live with that. You
Yeah.
know? Or was not a close second, but was a second.
Yeah.
And so I was
It was a
happy.
good video.
That's 3
but it was
years in a row.
Did you have more of an old school style when you start? Like, were you always capable of doing newer stuff when you first? Because you came from this.
Jason Ellis trying to put together a complete sentence, and I think he's floundering even more knowing that Heath Kirchart is just staring at him, trying to make him explode with his mind.
I had a mini ramp, but like an 8-foot mini ramp, like one that went just to vert as a kid in my backyard.
How long did you ride that for? Did it come natural to you? Obviously, I feel.
What's that?
Did it come natural to you? Obviously, I feel.
Did it come naturally to you? Obviously, I feel. What's that?
What's that?
The street, like when you.
When these two interact, it's really, really bad. Tony and Heath, I think, even though Heath hates what they're doing here, he despises. There's still some respect that Heath has for Tony Hawk as a person and what he's accomplished. That's not there between these guys.
When they started Hook Up Shoes, they got a sample pair
This part's good.
that were not of the quality you'd want to sell.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They were falling apart.
Yeah.
And they needed an ad for the shoes. This guy does a lip slide to frontside shove it.
What?
Lip slide and then shove it out
Oh, okay.
on, I don't know.
How do you remember this stuff?
And the shoes are falling apart. Like he doesn't even get a few tries before they're gonna.
Wait, the shoes broke.
They were samples.
But the day that you did the
Yes.
rail, the shoes broke in that
Yes.
session.
Yeah.
Wow, this is
And then he gets that.
Dude,
Look at
I know. He's so mad. Amazing, too.
he's like about to laugh.
Tony is describing this situation. He's describing this situation.
He is struggling to get a grasp of
Jason
even
Ellis,
the trick.
he can't understand the trick.
Lip slide to frontside shove it.
What?
Tony repeats the trick again with no additional clarifying information, by the way.
Lip slide and then shove it out.
And then he pretends to understand the trick.
Oh, okay.
And then we get to the end of the story, and Jason's contribution is repeating. He's like, wait,
The
so
shoes were falling
the shoes
apart
broke
in that
on
session?
the day?
Wait, the shoes broke
They were samples.
but the day that you did the
Yes.
rail, the shoes broke in that
Yes.
session.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then he comes to the conclusion, oh, those are some high quality shoes.
Wow, this is
And
some
then
top-notch
he,
shit.
like,
It's like, that's why he was telling the story,
Yes.
bro. That's
and
the
he's
point.
just watching this guy going, this guy's an imbecile.
Did you hit your head a lot?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
Yeah, there's no memory up here.
Yeah.
What is
And then
the,
everything from the past just doesn't even seem like me anymore. Like sitting here with you, it just seems bizarre.
This part's
me.
important.
Because I don't
Because-
do anything these days, you know?
Because you don't.
And here I am, like, and there's a bunch of cameras,
Yeah.
there's microphones.
Trying
well,
to
you
depict-
are doing things. You were producing.
Well, I
think
do
later,
stuff, but nothing that I should be here talking where anyone should care to
But
listen
you have
to
a
it.
legacy in skateboarding. I
I know,
don't
but the
think
legacy, I don't, like, when you look at...
So Tony has a really good like fake attitude for a lot of this,
Yes.
but Heath is about to strike kind of a sore spot.
Yeah.
When you look at...
Because Tony's entire platform, his whole like the way that he has marketed himself is all based on the past.
Yes.
It's all based on things
Remember.
he used to do. Yes, remember this, remember that, remember the time I did this. Heath has an entirely different outlook and approach to his skateboarding career, which is
If you
that
want-
happened, I did that, and now I'm done with it. And that's why like nostalgia farming
ghost in.
it's gross, but it's also very sad because it's like the more you focus on nostalgia, the less you are committed to finding joy in the things that are in your life now.
Yeah.
Like the more you look behind you, the less you're going to be able to appreciate what you have in this moment and what is to come. That's why like I have a lot of respect for Heath not relying on that, not using that as a crutch, but continuing to do new things in his life.
When you look at like your days at Powell, or when you were a pro skater, Jason,
No,
Don't say word. Don't say word. Don't say the W word.
Okay.
For a guy like this, that's his worst
I know.
nightmare in
Yep.
the world.
What happens here is fascinating. Heath, I think, is asking Jason if he was a pro skater.
If he was a pro skater,
he doesn't
yeah.
really.
He doesn't know.
Or when you were a pro skater, Jason.
Tony Hawk tries to save the situation by acting like, oh,
Is he
we
still?
still consider ourselves pro.
no,
Don't say word. Don't say word.
And that's what Heath is asking.
Oh.
That's not what Heath was
No.
asking. Heath was asking, were you a pro? And Tony does this like fake kind of thing to try to salvage the situation. But it's an irreversible strike against Jason and his ego. He's gonna have a hard time recovering from that blow.
That was a knockdown.
Or when you were a pro skater, Jason.
no.
Don't say word. Don't say word. Don't say the W word.
Okay. But like it's like someone else, right? It doesn't even seem like you. Or is that just me? That's just me?
The bit.
Yeah.
That's
mean,
like a whole different person, a whole nother lifetime ago.
It's a
like
lifetime ago.
childhood.
Yes,
It's like
sure.
childhood. Looking at childhood, like, yeah, that was me doing it, but like, I don't associate myself with that little kid and like identified. Like, there's not many traits that have kind of.
Yeah.
Do you still
I
see
feel that.
yourself as a skateboarder?
Well, I still skateboard.
Right. So, but like, because I get into radio, I got into fighting, I'm doing comedy. Like, what are you,
You
Jason?
got into fighting
His
too.
comedy?
Brings up all of these stupid interests that he has.
Yeah.
He does that a lot. It's gonna get worse, but like, yeah, he likes talking about all this
All his things he
random
does, all the things he does.
bullshit that are like, by the way, completely unoriginal hobbies. Like, oh, I got into comedy, I got into fighting. Like, oh, I wonder if this guy might be a Joe Rogan fan.
Yeah, I'm undefeated, 2-0.
Okay.
I got out just in time before I got beat senseless.
Like the cage stuff.
Yeah, and I
Okay,
had a
yeah.
couple of boxing fights as well. I got into it. I still train, but I'm not supposed to get punched in the head anymore. I got friends that care about me that were like, maybe stop getting punched in the head so I don't do that.
Yeah.
But I still train all the time. I can barely walk right now because I did a class 2 days ago that I am not ready for. And now my calves don't work because I'm 52 and I jumped into a class that you need conditioning for that.
God.
We have this in skateboarding. If you are past a certain age, it's like a knee-jerk reaction. They have no control over it, where they participate in a conversation about skateboarding, and it has to be prefaced by skater over 40 here every single time. If they're in their 50s, skater over 50 here. It's like, hey, dude, guess what? You can say whatever you want to say. You don't have to qualify it with like, you know, this self-consciousness about your age still being into skateboarding. It's fine to be an old guy that likes skateboarding. What isn't fine is like making everything that you do like about the fact that you are an old guy.
That's me. I always do stupid stuff like that. I'm very proud of it.
Okay.
But I always refer to myself as a
hear that?
skateboarder.
He said,
okay.
okay.
But I always...
He
Yeah.
literally did like the Pete Davidson on SNL.
Yeah.
I was a pro skateboarder. I'm definitely not anymore. But
Neither am
I don't think I can let it go. Like I don't...
But okay, so that's
Jason accidentally says something that's pretty funny is he says, I don't think I can let it go. And it's like, you know, look at where they're sitting right
Yeah.
now. Skateboards hung up behind them, you know, talking about the past. Like, yeah, of course you guys can't let it go. And if Heath couldn't let it go, he would probably be doing the same thing that you guys are doing. This probably would have been his 6th appearance on the Hawk versus Wolf podcast instead of his first and only, that he had to, again, be tricked. He had to be tricked into doing. I don't think you have to be the way that Heath is, which is he acts like he is a completely different person. Like, you are still that person. You did those things, even though I understand, like, he's like, I don't even identify with that person anymore. Like, I'm barely the same guy. Like, I think there's a balance between the way that Jason and Tony are like obsessed with the past and like Heath, who wants like absolutely nothing to do with it. But I definitely find Heath's approach way more respectable.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you're still breaking bones or putting yourself in a position to, you know, really hurt yourself, there's still like a drive and a fire to do that.
Yeah.
Or like, I don't have that for skateboarding.
Right. I mean, I lost it as well. You know, like I did like 2 decades where I was in radio and living in Los Angeles and not really thinking about skateboarding too much.
1 minute monologue about himself.
you can still go. Like, you can still do this and take my ego out of it because it's gone now. I don't care what you expect from me. I only care what I have.
No.
That's an amazing sentence by Jason Ellis. That's their favorite move.
Totally.
I've taken my ego out of this.
Totally.
And he says,
I just do it for me.
He says, I don't care what you expect from me. I've taken my ego out of this. Like, Jason, nobody knows who you are. This is new. The guest didn't know you were a professional skateboarder. I didn't know you were a professional skateboarder. To assume that other people have expectations of what you're doing, and then to say, I got rid of that. Now I do it for me and I don't care what you think. It's like, you couldn't be more off. You're still clearly obsessed with perception. The fact that you think that like you need to like qualify what you're doing in this way. That's the old guy paranoia. Is being like, oh, I don't care what people think. I just do it for me, and then I post it on Instagram for people to see, and then I'll probably write a caption about how I'm 50 and the body's still going or whatever.
Am I having fun with my friends that we grew up together skating, and now we're back and we're like old and wrinkly, and our kids have beards? Like, this is crazy that we're doing this. I love it.
Yeah.
You're still out there just.
What is that thing that's behind them?
I noticed that.
What is it?
I think it's some sort of soundproofing, like acoustic, like decorative device, but it's not. There's a lot of stuff to unpack as far as the set's concerned. Like you see what Heath is sitting on. That's a Chesterfield couch in purple. Looks very low quality, and this design originates from England in the 1700s. The Duke of Chesterfield, he's the one who came up with this design. Okay, so this is a very old school couch that they've got going here, and they've decided to pair that with tan mid-century modern chairs. You see that. So we've got a real mismatch feng shui going on here.
It's white facade brick.
Yep. Fake brick. That's like a plastic Temu peel off, peel on, renter friendly type of brick back there. What's even crazier than the brick?
The art on the brick
is what's the most famous skateboarder of all time. He's got access to any skateboarding photographer, all of the incredible photographs of skateboarding that have taken place throughout the rich history of the hobby. And he has settled for a triptych of Venice skate park. Like something that if you type in skateboard photography on Google, you click images, this is probably the third or fourth result, something that is like completely banal. You'd think that somebody like Tony Hawk, who's made his entire life skateboarding, would maybe have, I don't know, like something a photo that he likes, maybe behind these guys. All Tony Hawk boards.
Wow.
They don't even give Jason Ellis one board on the wall. That's what Tony Hawk thinks of you when he thinks of your skateboarding career, Jason.
Well, their combo board is up there.
That's for the pod. That's the podcast board.
Count.
Do you like the black painted cinder block with blue LED light?
It's just depressing, man.
It's all about like the appearance of having a legitimate show to try to attract other shitty podcasts to come on your show, where you guys obviously you just talk about absolutely fucking nothing.
Let's say when you were in whatever your prime, you consider your prime, where you're like, oh, I'm going to keep running this for the next 10, 20 years. Or did you always know, like, there's an end that I see?
I always wanted it to end.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be the person where, like, when I get up, it's just, like, really crickety. I wanted to be able to, like, still move. And you know, I don't know if I actually, like, accomplished that. Like, a neck hurts and sleeping. Right? Do you guys have problems sleeping?
Yeah, stem cells.
I'm going to get stem cells for my neck.
I did not want to.
There was a Liquid Death ad a while ago that was like really weird and demonic. Maybe I'll find it. And it had like a clip of Tony Hawk having blood extracted from his forearm, and they like infused Tony Hawk's blood into paint, and then they painted these Liquid Death skateboards with Tony Hawk's blood.
That is disgusting.
It was a really odd, like,
scary,
unsettling.
Hey, what's up? I'm Tony Hawk, and I recently became an ambassador for Liquid Death Mountain Water. Apparently, I didn't read the fine print, and now Liquid Death officially owns my soul. So they're gonna mix my blood into the paint and do a limited run of skateboards using my real blood in the graphics. But some of the profits will go towards killing plastic pollution and to building skate parks in underserved communities. Yeah, so I guess go to liquiddeath.com to get skateboards with my blood in it.
The problem that I have with Tony doing an ad like this is that it is analogous to what he's already doing with his career, which is selling his soul for, monetary gain and trying to sustain a degree of relevance. This advertisement just sort of highlights the distasteful, souring parts about Tony's career and puts them in like a very literal, dark sort of way. And it's supposed to come off as a joke, but all it does to me really is, draw attention and make me focus on the things that I really do not like about Tony Hawk. I think that's why the ad, for me, fails really badly. If anything, this just feels like a really apt critique of Tony Hawk, which is that he is willing to, sell a piece of him, like package it and ship that off just for a little bit, just to be in a fucking ad. I don't like hearing him talk about, stem cells. I don't like hearing, him using biological, human resources for his own, personal sustainability.
Like I said, did you not hear my immediate reaction? Like, if you were a cute girl that said that, I'd be like, ooh, that's cute. I like damage.
He said some weird thing about, like, I like damage, where I don't know exactly how to describe it. Like, his sense of humor is, like, derived from this belief that, like, he is a wacky guy. Like, he has an odd sense of humor. He doesn't exactly fit in. And I think that he believes that people treat him differently because he is a goofy and misunderstood character, where he doesn't understand that, like, people treat him differently, and he gets, like, probably hate comments and stuff, and people call him annoying because he's dumb and annoying. He thinks the things about him that are most dislikable are actually his best features, and the people who correctly identify these annoying things that he does are misunderstanding his sense of humor. Oh, I'm like kind of a weird dude, and I like damage, and I like talking about myself, and people don't really get that. And he's like, he probably thinks that Heath doesn't get him.
Yeah,
but it's like, you're just annoying, dude.
I know a fighter guy that got knocked out like way too many times and still is in the UFC and gets punched in the face, and he had lasers break down something in his brain.
What?
Yeah. And
did this work?
He's still fighting.
He knows his name.
He probably shouldn't, but I would say after the lasers, I would call it a day. But he got the lasers and then excelled and became the champion of the world after the fact.
Yeah, there's not a lot of critical thought in fighting, right? You're just kind of going off instincts.
Hey, man.
You're going off instincts, and training is what comes out, not critical thought in the ring.
Heath made a bit of a mistake here. Yeah. He indulged the MMA talk.
Yeah.
Which you don't do. You
can't do it.
When this guy keeps bringing up the UFC, no matter how many times he brings it up, you got it. It's like Goog talking about Minecraft, Johnny's nephew.
Don't indulge.
You can't give it any acknowledgement.
He'll still keep bringing it up.
You can't ask a question. You have to let him tire himself out. It's considered normal now to completely divert podcasts about a topic that is not related to fighting or UFC, like skateboarding. But it's like the UFC is like this ever-present like boogeyman looming over any conversation.
It's a haze.
It's always hiding right behind some corner waiting to jump out and ruin everything. It's Joe Rogan that's made this acceptable, because the biggest podcast in the world is, largely to do with fighting, and everybody is pretending to be Joe Rogan, so everybody thinks it's okay to just go
Bring up
on
fighting.
Fucking random, completely deviant tangents about the UFC when nobody else in the room cares, dude. You're the only guy in the room who wants to talk about UFC. It's only you. Tony doesn't want to talk about it. Heath doesn't want to talk about it. Heath accidentally entertained you, but it's a huge mistake.
No, that's not true. Fighting is just like skateboarding. There's some thinkers in that game.
That's good news.
It's not all mindless meatheads.
Okay.
Believe it or
Yeah,
not.
so there.
I didn't realize I was on a UFC podcast.
We got him.
That's the end of my MMA talk. Thank you.
Okay. Say you have a kid, right? You have like a 14-year-old son, and like you open the door to his bedroom, and he's like in front of a ring light with his shirt off, and he's got like Bryce Hall hair like flopping around, and he's like dancing or whatever, and you're like, geez, what the fuck is my son watching on his phone? Flip it, and if you're the kid with the floppy hair walking into his dad's room and he's like listening to Joe Rogan and he's punching a fucking bag, you're like, God, what is my dad watching on his phone? Complete hive mind, unoriginal hobbies. And yeah, this guy, he's got them all. And I think he's used to being around a bunch of people that don't have a problem with that, think that it's normal, accept it, and actually think that it's a good thing. Whereas Heath, who's not on social media, he doesn't have Instagram, he doesn't have anything, he doesn't even probably fully grasp this phenomenon, and he's even like, God, this guy's fucking corny.
Yeah,
You know?
totally.
That's how obvious it is. As a guy who doesn't even pay attention knows that what you're doing is whack.
Were you, do I have this wrong? Were you doing deliveries on a bike for a while?
On a motorcycle, like a little motorbike.
That's what it was.
Yeah. For
Yeah.
Salmon Aga.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The parade isn't the only thing going down in Pasadena. Tradition meets college football action in one epic bowl game. With DraftKings Sportsbook, you can make every play count.
Everybody knows college football is more exciting when there's something on the line and customers can score 150.
How pissed would you be if you were Heath Kirchart? You didn't want to do this show. You don't want to be involved. You get tricked into doing it. And these guys are using your name in the title, in the thumbnail. They're using you to and direct attention to something like DraftKings. These guys happily, with zero critical thought, like, first of all, morally, is this really like a good thing to do, to associate ourselves with DraftKings? Even worse, though, like our guest who doesn't want to be here, we have now associated him with DraftKings.
And
We're
this
using
guy-
his likeness to promote gambling.
It's the same. He goes, other people do it, so
Yes,
it's fine.
It's normal.
It's-
People think this is fine
it's
because
not
other
fine.
podcasts do DraftKings advertisements.
It's not fine.
What he said in the ad is fucking ludicrous.
Watching the Rose Bowl is fun, but turning $5 into $150 is even more fun.
That's not
That's not
happening
gonna
to you.
happen.
That's happening to 0.0000001% of people. You're going to lose money on DraftKings. That's how DraftKings can afford to do advertisements on every single shitty D-tier podcast on the entire internet, because they have infinite fucking money, because everybody that signs up for it loses their money. You're going to lose money with DraftKings. So like associating your guest Heath Kirchart with this shit, using his name to do a DraftKings ad is unacceptable. They're not even like, fucking getting a bag off of this.
No.
They're losing money on this show.
It's not for profit yet, but we love it.
I would find it humiliating to have 9 million followers on Instagram, be a internationally famous skateboarder, the most famous skateboarder in the world, and to be sitting next to Jason Ellis doing a DraftKings advertisement, dude. Like, this isn't okay.
369.
In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call
I love they have to do this.
888-789-7777. Or
If I was doing an ad read about gambling, and then at the end of the ad read, I had to do something about an emergency hotline for gambling, I'd be like, maybe this is
Maybe it's
not
bad.
something I should be
Maybe it's
spreading. Maybe I
bad.
shouldn't be accepting money from these people.
Give AG1 a try if you're taking supplements.
DraftKings gambling to green powder vegetable scam. This stuff is like $120 a month, by the way. It's a well-documented scam. It's a proprietary blend. Proprietary blend means you don't
don't
have
get
to
the-
tell people the doses
Yeah,
that
you
you're
don't-
putting in there. You can just dump whatever you are putting in there in whatever amount, so there's no control whatsoever. And these people, these AG1 people, they're advertising this as some sort of like vegetable replacement. These guys don't gamble, I don't think. They didn't sound like they knew anything
No.
about football or college football or betting or anything. Don't drink AG1 either. People think that this is normal, because the top podcasters like Andrew Huberman and Joe Rogan are shilling this stuff for millions of dollars on their show when guaranteed neither of these guys take this stuff. They don't believe in this stuff, but that's besides the point. The point is all of these other podcast noobs that treat these guys like they're gods or prophets or something, like Jason Ellis, who's a complete idiot, they all think it's fine and normal to just accept ad deals from like DraftKings and scam supplement companies like AG1 because, you know, the people that they look up to and they obsess over and model themselves after, they all do it. So there's no thought about, should I do this? Is this something that, you know, I should be promoting to my fans? Is this something that I should be peddling? Is this going to be worth their money? No, they just do it because Joe Rogan and Andrew Huberman did it.
Go to drinkag1.com/HVW. That's drink.
This is a special ASLELS challenge for you,
Jason Ellis.
If you can read one full page of a Harry Potter book, nigga, I'll give $750,000 to whatever charitable organization you want to. Fuck the bucket of ice, man.
I got rescued off the coast of Baja in like a rowboat.
You were in a rowboat?
Yeah.
It's almost adorable.
It's almost
that
cute.
he just goes, why?
You were in a boat?
You were in a rowboat?
Do you have a big background in rowboats?
No.
I don't think I've ever said that.
We didn't know how to row until we actually put the boat in the water. You know, what's going through my head was just like, I can't believe I'm going to fucking die out here. Like, eventually I'm going to seize up. Like, my muscles are already getting tired.
Yes.
Bet he wish he would have died.
So you didn't have to be on this
fucking... Skip ahead here.
Thank you.
Because I think we covered a lot of what I wanted to cover.
Perfect.
This
Did you
part
watch
should
this
be
whole
good.
thing?
Oh yeah, I've seen this whole thing. Yeah, of course. Now just mentally prepare yourself because this is where all of the sneak dissing and the awkwardness, it all comes to a head here.
Oh.
This is the breaking point.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Where'd you get such a great attitude about yourself?
Jason doesn't really like understand, you know, somebody who doesn't want to give themselves heaps and heaps of credit for every single thing that they do because you don't want to keep patting yourself on the back over and over because it's going to make you complacent, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas Jason loves patting himself on the back. He loves redirecting conversations to himself. He loves the attention being on him at all times. And he's like kind of confused. He doesn't understand that like Heath having that attitude kind of put him in a position to even be legendary in the first place, you know? That's why Jason Ellis never ever going to be a legend in anything because he's talking about MMA class that he took on Tuesday.
I would never like head a company. Like I was always like the B-roll.
Yeah, that's just not true.
Yeah,
Well,
see,
like, I mean, I'm saying C is like an average professional skateboarder. And if you're going to put it on like a real average level, like average is a great skateboarder.
yeah.
That came out wrong.
Yeah.
A lot of other guys that are after you speak about you like you were one of the best there was. They've been on this show saying it. I wasn't there.
Name names.
Andrew Reynolds.
No, he didn't. I listened to the Andrew Reynolds one.
No, he said that to me. I mean,
He goes Andrew Reynolds, and he goes, I watched that.
Yeah, right.
No, he didn't.
He didn't say that. Yeah,
That's
that is
incredible.
Pretty funny that they would name drop
I-
Andrew Reynolds if he didn't say that. But I would imagine that Heath
Wouldn't
would
lie.
know. I would imagine that he
Yeah.
would know.
Because he said that, because that's one of the craziest moments that's happened.
Yeah.
If Jason Ellis just blatantly
We've just made that up.
You know, and like I'll see like.
Oh, they're talking about
things that-
social media here.
on the outside of that bubble.
I'm sure every single person in this room has one. Like it's, you know, baffling that it's this popular.
What is it like being out on the outside of that bubble?
I don't know what it's like to be inside.
Okay, good answer.
I read reports and like everyone's depressed and like thinks their life sucks. So maybe it's better.
Pretty fucking funny.
Oh yeah, no, I'm envious.
I
that
will
you're
look
out
at
of
it.
the
I
bubble.
will look at it.
I'm envious you're out of the boat. Dude, Tony, like, you don't have to do any of this. you actually, it's not.
Well, he
this
does.
Isn't,
He's addicted.
This isn't
clearly.
exactly. This isn't your job, Tony. Like you did your job. Your job is over. You did video games. You made millions of dollars. You skated.
Island.
Like you don't have to. You don't. To hear you say you're envious of somebody outside of social media, Heath Kirchart pulled it off with substantially less money than you did.
You want to go bowling with us tonight? I'm going bowling with him tonight.
Tonight, I'm going to the N-Men screening.
I like that Heath invites Tony, but not Jason to go bowling. Do you want to go bowling tonight? It just pretends like Jason doesn't
I don't know what
exist.
that is, but
Say no and have everyone call you.
But being out of it and seeing us egotistical idiots that are stuck in it, videoing you so that we can post it. Do you ever go, man, like, when are they going to wake up? Like, do we look stupid to you? Honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
This is kind of an incredible one where I almost gained a little bit of respect for Jason Ellis because he knows that Heath really hates him.
Yeah.
He almost can identify that maybe Heath even has a little bit of a point, but he's so far gone. He's so addicted, to this shit. He's never going to be able to give it up, but he at least understands it well enough to ask the question. You can see that he has some shame still. He actually knows, man, this guy does think that we're idiots, and it
Tony's going,
it hurts his feelings that Tony thinks he's asking a question. He's trying to be a good sport about it, but his feelings are hurt that Heath Kirchart thinks he's an idiot. My feelings would be hurt if Heath Kirchart thought I was an idiot because Heath has a principled approach to the way that he conducts himself. So my feelings would be hurt too. Tony, he doesn't care.
No.
There's nothing left there. Even when confronted with a guy sitting on his show being like, yeah, I think you guys are fucking idiots, Tony just goes, Jason is a dumbass, but you could potentially maybe save him one day.
Yeah.
Tony Hawk, he'll never be delivered. He's completely doomed.
I know it. I know what I'm doing, I know what I am.
But
oh my God.
Isn't that crazy?
Oh my God. That was dark.
Yeah, I know.
I know what I am.
He confronted.
I'm a monster.
He confronted his own shame.
And
Heath alphaed him into doing so. He literally broke this whole thing down and exposed it for the entire audience. And Tony doesn't even give a fuck.
He doesn't care.
Tony doesn't care. Tony just had his whole psychology displayed for his entire audience, and it didn't faze him.
The thing is Tony gets to go sleep on piles of money.
Yes, he does.
And goes home to his bed.
Yeah.
He goes home. Egyptian silk.
He goes home to his fourth wife. Crazy how we in the beginning it is all so and then the butting of the heads actually resulted in kind of a real moment.
This is great.
This is why we tune into 52 minutes of Hawk versus Wolf.
It shows you the contrast is so stark.
I know. Yeah.
Between something real, when you see, it's so jarring when you see a
genuine moment. Yeah.
If I got a clip of Heath doing a couple tricks, it's like I caught a unicorn. I know you don't think anything like that, but...
You hear how fucked up that is from Tony, by the way? It's he might as well take a helicopter to Africa and abduct a child. And be like, look, I caught one. It's why are you thinking that way?
Species, and Tony's poking it and filming it and poking it.
Yeah, he's like, look what I got, guys. Look, we can experiment on this
when you do this. All I figured out is that it hates it when you do this to it. Pull on its ears. It really hates it.
It screams when I pull on its ears.
That's the only thing my experiments have figured out.
Why do I like pulling on its ears when it hates when I pull on its ears? That's weird that I like that so much.
I'm just telling you, from this perspective, it's a big deal. Which is cool.
Not to him.
Yeah, not to him. I know. which makes it cooler.
He said it makes it cooler that Heath doesn't like it. It's literally what we were saying. He's like, about. The more he squirms and struggles, the harder I pull.
Yeah, that's him. I know. which makes it cooler.
Jason is like in the back of the torture room.
Yeah.
And he's like, Tony, maybe we should let up on the little guy. And Tony's like, no, get my power tools. Let's see what other noises this thing can make.
Let's mechanize the ear pulling.
We're this far in, and it's like the true evil has been exposed.
Yeah.
The truly evil one is Tony. Like Jason is just like his stupid assistant moron, you know. But Tony's really the one who pulls all the strings.
I did a 540 the other day. I didn't post it for money. I posted it because I was like, look at me.
Well, I say it all helps. You.
That is a.
Okay. Yeah. You got me, but do you believe me when I say that I didn't do it for money?
I don't think you're putting it on there going, oh, maybe I'll make $5 more this month. No, I don't think you're doing that. I think you're posting it so that your friends will see what you're up to, and then like they say that was fucking awesome, and you go like, yeah.
I love pats on the back.
Yeah. No, I mean, who doesn't?
It's really sad that like Jason has to sort of like defile himself in this way in front of Heath, you know, and like admit to how pathetic he is.
On the bait. Do you believe me? Do you believe it's
bad?
I wouldn't post this.
I know exactly.
I wouldn't post this.
This is so like, embarrassing. It's hardcore.
It is.
This is crazy. Like it's still in this like dressed up podcasty environment and stuff, but like what's actually happening, like the exchange that is taking place is like not something that you should be rearing backwards in your chair guffawing at.
Because I'm not making any money. That's the saddest thing about it. Hey, everybody, I'm broke. Like, what are you doing on there? Threw the remote of the TV and broke the TV, and I was like, that's not you. This is the painkillers.
How many times have you hit your head?
I've been knocked out over 30 times.
I've been knocked out over 30 times. How do you get knocked out 30 times? I think I probably never need to watch another episode of Hawk versus Wolf because, like, the point of the show was questioned, you know, like, Heath represented, like...
He held a mirror to them.
Yes, he held a mirror. He represented something existential about what they were doing, and it was enough to break Jason. It was enough to break him. He couldn't break Tony. He couldn't break him, but he did break Jason, and that was a beautiful thing to see for me. I was very satisfied.
Mystical moment.
Yeah.
A mystical moment.
He really is a unicorn.
When he goes, I know what I am.
I know.
I know what I am.
I know what I'm doing.
I know it. I know what I'm doing, you know? I know what I am.